Это полный аналог космической станции. Прикольно. В пиар-насовском центре. Здесь они измываются над космонавтами. Комплекс «Заря», «Союз», купола. Там шаттлы, бедняжки, шаттлы.
Ladies and gentlemen, as you come on up the steps, just make your way all the way down this way so that everybody can fit up onto the catwalk. We've got a large group, so just make your way all the way down this way. It might be a bit of a squeeze, but everybody must get onto the catwalk so that they can see and hear everything I'll be describing. They're planning and developing new hardware and training procedures for our astronauts to use on the various mock-ups down below. Directly in front of us, you will see mock-ups and trainers from the International Space Station. Among them include living quarters, laboratory modules where all the space research will be done, storage modules, and an airlock that will allow our astronauts to exit the International Space Station, or ISS, for spacewalks. There are many countries currently working together on the construction of the ISS. These include the Italian Space Agency, Canada, ESA, the European Space Agency, representing 10 of their own countries, our own National Aeronautics and Space Administration, or NASA, the Japanese Aerospace Exploration Agency, or JAXA, and finally the RSA, or Russian Space Agency. Now, the ISS is the largest peacetime collaborative effort ever undertaken. On-orbit construction of the ISS began in November of 1998 and is projected to be completed sometime this year. Now, to your left, you'll see a large black area. This is the air-bearing floor. It allows our astronauts to work in a two-dimensional frictionless environment as they would in space. You can see how this works back in Space Center Houston on the MMU trainer, which is located on the plaza floor. At this time, we'll be headed to our second stop here in Building 9. Please remember to stay close so that you can clearly hear and see everything I'll be describing, and at this time, please follow me. What? Okay, it's way at the end.
Что тут на коленках делают?
I know. Don't you feel so
Почему-то никто не работает.
And we're not even over there's
Даже объяснение что-то. Какая миссия, зачем. Смотрите и радуйтесь. Классно.
Ladies and gentlemen, please make your way down this way, and I'll be starting very shortly for our second stop here in Building 9.
Там астронавты сидят. Да, такой громадный шаттл.
Like a bus that has little things sticking up on their legs. I feel like
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, directly in front of us is the Full Fuselage Trainer, or FFT. This is a full-scale mock-up of the shuttle orbiter, but does not include the wings. They are not necessary for training purposes. Now, across the cargo bay, you'll see a
Shuttle
large
полный
white
размер.
pole lying on its side. This is the Remote Manipulator System, or RMS. This arm is manufactured in Canada, so it is also known as the Canada Arm. While in space, the actual arm on the orbiter can easily move objects weighing thousands of pounds. However, once brought back to Earth, it can't even lift its own weight. So to help train our astronauts, we have constructed a larger and stronger working model that we'll see in just a moment. Now, to the right and behind the FFT are two nose portions of the shuttle orbiter. These are the crew compartment trainers, or CCTs. The CCTs can be rotated into both vertical and horizontal positions for launch and landing procedures. Now, both the CCTs and the FFT are high-fidelity mock-ups, which means everything inside is exactly the same as on the actual orbiter. While inside these trainers, our astronauts become familiar with television and camera operations, lighting, medical equipment, sleeping quarters, meal preparation, the waste management system, and emergency safety training with the in-flight crew escape system. At this time, we'll be headed to our third and final stop here in Building 9. Please once again remember to stay close so that you can clearly hear and see everything I'll be describing. And at this time, please follow me.
Кем-то. Как что-то стоит. О, да-да. В шлеме. Спокойно.
Once again, ladies and gentlemen, just make your way down this way, and I'll be starting very shortly for our third and final stop here in Building 9.
Манипулятор. Прикольно. Как проверяют. Или следят.
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, directly in front of us is an area where the astronauts practice manipulating the robot arm on the International Space Station. The large arm in front of us is a mock-up of the onboard International Space Station arm. This arm has 7 degrees of movement and is equipped with a shoulder with a yaw, pitch and roll,
Там говорят
elbow with the
о
7
манипуляторе.
degree movement, and a wrist with the yaw, pitch and roll as well. The large blue structure in the back and on the right is a docking simulator. It does require careful skill and training when docking something as large as the International Space Station with a shuttle orbiter. Whenever you see a spacecraft on TV, it looks as if it is just floating. However, it is actually traveling at a speed of 17,500 miles per hour, which is roughly 5 miles a second. Now, to the left of that, you'll see an area where the astronauts practice using the arm to manipulate various objects. This is known as the Multi-Use Remote Manipulator Development Facility, or MRMDF for short. You'll also see a large, lightweight inflatable. The astronauts use this in conjunction with the arm to practice satellite deployment and retrieval, as well as assembly of the various ISS components. Now, I do have one little fun fact for the kids that are on this tour with us today, maybe even the adults. Because look over to your left, you'll see 2 white vehicular-looking objects. These are actually Mars rovers. They have 12 wheels, are equipped with a 360 degree of movement, and funny enough, they're actually maneuvered using Xbox 360 remote controllers. Alright guys, at this time, this does conclude our tour of the Space Vehicle Mock-Up Training Facility. We're going to be going downstairs and back onto the tram, but before we do, please remember, take those same rows that you came here on and just start locating those white boarding passes. I'll be collecting them downstairs once you're back on the tram, and at this time, you guys can follow me down.
Роверы. Вот,
This building houses a very rare and valuable collection, the world's largest collection of moon rocks. Lunar samples are preserved and stored here in special cabinets that protect them from deterioration. Astronaut Alan Bean was on the Apollo 12 mission. He remembers his first thoughts upon leaving the Apollo capsule.
I came down the ladder, and I can remember as I stood on the moon trying to get my balance, just thinking what an amazing, brightly lit, flat place it was to visit. Buzz Aldrin said on Apollo 11, it was a magnificent desolation, and maybe those were beautifully chosen words.
Look up ahead, past the road, a field of rocks and sand. It's not a sandbox. Astronauts and engineers conduct training exercises in that area to prepare for working on the surfaces of the moon. Today, NASA scientists are preparing to use the geology of the moon to our advantage. The materials on the moon may be used in the future for building materials, fuel, and even oxygen. An outpost on the moon. Up in the sky, you might just see an F-16 fighter jet swooping by. Just north of here, you can find Ellington Field. The spacecraft was reusable. It would land like an airplane. John Harrington, shuttle astronaut.
Here's a remarkable vehicle that lifts off of a rocket, can go up and do its work in space, and then you close the payload bay doors and you glide home. It's the versatility of the space shuttle that we can do a variety of things with it that makes it such a unique engineering achievement.
Trees were assembled for the 10th anniversary of the tragic explosion of the Space Shuttle Challenger. A tree was planted here for Mercury astronaut Gordon Cooper when he died of natural causes. Sadly, another group of Seven Oaks joined them on February 1st, 2003, when the Space Shuttle Columbia was lost 60 minutes before landing. The entire crew was killed in the explosion. We'll pause here for a moment to remember them. 3 days after the tragedy, President George W. Bush stood on these grounds and spoke these words.
To leave behind earth and air and gravity is an ancient dream of humanity. For these seven, it was a dream fulfilled. Each of these astronauts had the daring and discipline required of their calling. Each of them knew that great endeavors are inseparable from great risks, and each of them accepted those risks willingly, even joyfully, in the cause of discovery. America's space program will go on. This cause of exploration and discovery is not an option we choose. It is a desire written in the human heart. We are that part of creation which seeks to understand all creation. We find that the best among us. That was the time to walk through and get answers to questions about who we are, where we are, home, where's the life on Mars, what is the future hold. I don't know. But someday someone's going to answer this. We're going to stop just ahead and rock the front. Inside the building, see the giant rocket inside. A legendary Saturn V rocket that took